This excerpt is titled, On the Osh Bazaar. In December 1995, I spent 3 weeks in Osh, the main city in southern Kyrgyzstan, setting up a resource center for local journalists. In the Soviet era, all shops, from the central department store to the small corner store, were state-owned and operated and numbered, with fixed prices and limited selection. Shoppers complained of long lines and surly customer service. In some areas, seasonal shortages of basic foodstuffs, bread, meat, dairy products, fruits and vegetables were common. An underground retail sector existed alongside the state-run shops. Prices were higher, but the quality was better, and some items were simply not sold in state-run stores. For Levi's or for Marlboros, you needed to talk to the guy in the leather jacket who hung around behind the Palace of Culture. In agricultural regions, such as the Fergana Valley of Central Asia, some city dwellers had dachas where they grew apples, apricots, peaches and cherries, and raised vegetables. They canned for the winter months and they sold their surplus to neighbors and friends. The police periodically cracked down on the underground economy, especially when it involved shipments of alcohol, cigarettes, or consumer electronics. But it was not worth the effort to stop a babushka selling tomatoes or strawberry jam to her neighbors in the apartment block, or even to stop the production and sale of moonshine called samagon, literally translated as self-run, the homemade distilled alcoholic concoction usually made from sugar, beets, potatoes, bread or fruit. In many ways, the state shops were a Potemkin village, impressive facades with empty shelves inside. And so the Soviets quietly allowed business in the informal economy to keep running, especially on the bazaars. In Osh, the massive Jayma Bazaar sprawls along the western bank of the Ak-Burra River, winding up dozens of side streets and alleys. It's been one of the great markets on the Silk Road since medieval times. It's open 7 days a week and thronged on Friday and Sunday, the traditional market days. It's still primarily an agricultural market with slaughterhouses and warehouses. One section is piled high with bales of hay. In another, live chickens are sold. In another, raw cotton and wool. Nearby, blacksmiths forge horseshoes, nails, stovepipes, and traditional ornamental lives like these ones that I have here. In the summer, the market bulges with fresh produce: peaches, apricots, oranges, cherries, grapes, melons, and vegetables. Even in winter, apples, pears, figs, pomegranates, potatoes, onions, and carrots are abundant, and dried apricots, raisins, pistachios, almonds, and walnuts are sold year-round. Uzbek rice, the main ingredient of the Uzbek national dish plov, a lamb pilaf with carrots, onions, and hot peppers, is sold from open bags. Lipioshki flat bread is baked in tandoori ovens. Butter comes by the slab, sugar in huge yellow crystalline lumps. Even for the seasoned traveler, the sight, sounds, and crush of people can be overwhelming. Ear-splitting commercials for local businesses blast over the tinny speakers of the public address system. This forces the bootleg music vendors to crank up the volume on their boom boxes, playing the latest Turkish and Chinese pop hits. In the auto section, there's a brisk trade in used alternators, batteries, worn belts and tires. Engine oil, sold in mason jars, looks as if it's already serviced a fleet of diesel buses. Although traditional silk, wool, and cotton fabrics are sold, the garment district has largely been taken over by vendors hawking cheap imports from India, Pakistan, Iran, and Turkey with fake, and often misspelled, designer labels. In 1995, with Kyrgyzstan deep in an economic slump, most of the shops were closed, but the Osh Bazaar was always open.